guys, welcome back to another ranking video, and today we are ranking all of the Middle-earth movies. Yes, the Middle-earth saga compiles of two trilogies. You got the Lord of the Rings trilogy of movies that came out from 2001 to 2003, and then you have the Hobbit movies that came out from 2012 to 2014. So there's 6 movies in this trilogy, the Hobbit serving as more of a prequel, I guess, to the Lord of the Rings franchise. And if you have missed it on the channel, I have actually watched every single movie in this saga, all at extended edition length, and I have done individual videos of all of these here on the channel. So if you are interested, please go and check out those individual videos if you want that more detailed stuff. I know a lot of you have, but I have now done them all, and we are here ranking them and summarizing that from worst to best, as we always do. So in at number 6 then, at the bottom of the pile, I gave 3 stars to The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Yes, this is the last film in the franchise, the latest one that has come out, and I guess the last one to end the Hobbit trilogy. For me, this was the one that I thought was lacking in a lot of story development, because as the title insinuates, the Battle of the Five Armies. I feel like the battle lasted the best part of 2 hours. Now, that's fine, but it can get a bit monotonous and a bit boring, especially when, you know, you've got CGI generated orcs, which is going to be the common theme throughout all of the Hobbit movies. Was something I didn't really enjoy in terms of that. It's definitely in an age where CGI wasn't as good in the early 2012, 13, 14s. It was like just finding its feet, I felt. It was almost like going from a video game to, you know, real life movie, if that makes sense. And I just felt that film, the last one in the trilogy, was very heavy on that battle aspect. There was not much story progression as there was in the other 2 films, and I just felt it just lacked slightly in a bit of quality. But I gave it a 3-star, which is not a bad. This is like, it's not a bad film. None of these films are bad films, obviously. It's just I just didn't, I guess, find it as engaging as the other films. So up the list then, now in at number 5, we have the very first movie in the Hobbit trilogy. This is The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. This came out in 2012. I actually gave it a 3.5 star. Thought it was slightly better than the last one. I kind of thought that like it laid a lot of the foundations right in terms of where things were going to go in the trilogy, but I do think it took a while to actually, you know, get that going, if that makes sense. It was very stagnated in how it approached the, I guess, upcoming trilogy. Obviously, the Hobbit book is very small, and the fact that they did a Hobbit book that small into 3 films showed. It's 12 hours a film, like 4 hours each, more or less, because of the extended editions. And I just feel like, was there enough content to actually turn into like a screenplay or whatever? A lot of these Hobbit films did feel very stretched, very thinned out because of the lack of content, I felt. And this one was the one that was like, you know, premising all the things initially and getting us off in our path, if you know what I mean. In at number 4 then, and I guess no surprise here, this is the second Hobbit movie. This is The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug. Now, I say no surprise because the Lord of the Rings movies were never going to be below number 3, of course. But The Desolation of Smaug, I also gave a 3.5 star. This is the one I enjoyed the most, definitely. This is the one that I thought captivated me the most and also progressed the story on, which it would have, if you know what I mean, in terms of stretching out that story. But being the middle one, I felt like it really took hold of the story and just elevated it. We obviously had the cliffhanger from the first film, so I thought it was like the best opening of any of the Hobbit movies in terms of Smaug going over to Lake Town and actually kicking off. And then we get Bilbo then actually talking to Smaug, and that engagement with Benedict Cumberbatch and all that. I thought that was really good, as he was like looking for the Arkenstone. And, you know, the difference between the dwarves, and obviously the Desolation of Smaug is Smaug dying. And, you know, that was a whole amazing scene of the gold just coming down and just looking really cool and stuff like that. So it definitely had some good moments in the movie. I gave it a 3.5 star. Enjoyment level I thought was up there, but again, recurring theme out of all the Hobbit movies really was the CGI and the overuse of CGI. I felt like there was a lot of CGI. That much so that I actually looked into like the extras and stuff like that, and I think there was 2,000 extras employed for the entire Hobbit saga, whereas for Lord of the Rings, obviously 10 years earlier, there was 21,000 extras. So there's a lot more real stuff happening on the Lord of the Rings franchise versus the Hobbit. Now that's just because in general life, you know, technology's progressed and cost is cheaper to do CGI army than there is to get 20,000 extras or whatever. So yeah, but I think it lacked in terms of the Hobbit film because it just looked fake. It didn't look real. Some things can look real, obviously, but in these I didn't find it as engaging. Top 3 then now, and this is the Lord of the Rings, of course, the three movies from the Lord of the Rings, and I gave number 3 a 4.5 star. This is the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. This is the first movie from 2001. It kicked off the entire thing really, and yes, Peter Jackson's debut, I guess, and yeah, this was really interesting. This was one that I really did enjoy. This is obviously the ring getting given to Frodo or whatever, and the Fellowship combining to seek on this quest to actually destroy it and you know, end this war, upcoming war, I guess, and Sauron getting stronger. I thought the story was really good, really emphasized everything, and I really enjoyed it. This is the one movie actually which I forgot. This is the one where there's kind of one story happening with loads of different characters feeding into that, but then you also have before then at the end of it they very much split up and it kind of goes into their own side quests happening while the main quest is to destroy the ring, of course. So yeah, the Fellowship comes together. We get many different amazing actors and actresses performing in this, and the score as well was something that just stuck out. I gave it a 4.5 star though. It just felt slightly a 5 star. I think maybe like some of the pacing was a little bit off, and also like the first like hour felt a little bit like let's get going kind of vibe. Like I think they were in the Shire for like 50 minutes or something. It was just a bit like okay, but I'm not sure if that was like extended edition. That might have been. There was a lot of extra bits added in there and stuff like that. So yeah, I gave the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, a 4.5 star. Number 2 then now this is where people might be surprised and there may be a little shock here or there. Now, 5 star for the top 2 is no denying, but in terms of which one, I just put it down to preference, which one I actually preferred and enjoyed the most. And in number 2 is The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Yes, this is the movie that won 10 Oscars, of course. A fantastic adaptation of a book with amazing sound editing for, you know, 2003. Real orcs as well. We actually get real orcs, CGI used in appropriate times, obviously given 2003. 5 star, very much a perfect film. There's nothing much you can say about this that doesn't really bode well. It obviously is the last one in the Lord of the Rings franchise, so it kind of encompasses that trilogy and ends where we set off in the Fellowship and just ends it really nicely. Return of the King, of course, Aragorn, Isildur's heir, so that was nice to actually, you know, relive that. I totally forgot about that, I'm not gonna lie. I knew Aragorn was king, obviously, but the reasons behind it and the story development and all that was brilliant to actually get to where we got to. And yeah, I just thought it was fab. I think the only thing maybe I didn't enjoy was like the undead army. I thought that was a bit like far-fetched and stuff like that, but this is Lord of the Rings, you know. It's all far-fetched. But yeah, that is my number 2. Of course, a perfect film. There's nothing more I can say. Amazing score, amazing performances. Yeah, amazing. Number 1 though, I just looked at the 2 and just thought I actually had a better time watching this and enjoyed it more. I don't really like to put enjoyment factor into my reviews, but it is a big factor, of course, in terms of when you're like trying to differentiate. And the Two Towers for me, the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, I always would have said before my revisiting that this was my favourite, but I think I had more nostalgia with the game because I remember like the Helm's Deep like level on the game, or like that was class back in the day, so maybe I kind of was a bit biased. But after watching it now, you know, a 31-year-old man, I can safely say it is my favourite, definitely. I think the whole Helm's Deep concept is great. The whole going to Rohan, you've got the king who's under like this spell and he's like, you know, being manipulated by Saruman, and yeah, they all go there. Gandalf, you know, comes back obviously, and the two towers being Isengard as well as in Mordor. Frodo's getting closer. We get Gollum for most of the film. Gollum's in this one more than in the first, and yeah, it just carries on the story. But I think it's one of the best sequels ever made. Honestly, I do. I think it has to be one of the best sequels ever made. It has to be up there with things like Empire Strikes Back. You know, even Dune Part 2 I'd put in there now. Definitely has to be up there. Dark Knight Rises, maybe not. You know, Dark Knight's probably better, but yeah, 100%. The Two Towers for me, amazing. Carries on the story well. Sets up other things ready for Return of the King. Of course, both films fantastic. But both films getting 5-star for me. 100% though. The Two Towers for me is my number one. So there it is. There is my top 6 movies of the Middle-earth saga. I am now going to get on with watching The Ring of Power, because this is why I've done this. I wanted to actually watch that Amazon series and give that a go. I haven't heard great things about it. Well, I haven't heard anything about it really, which is never good, because yeah, who knows? But I'm really excited to give that a go and actually get into some TV again, because it's been a while since I've had a series, you know, to really watch. So yeah, there's my top 6. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know. I don't think many people's lists are too different to mine, other than number 1 and 2 maybe. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. As I said though, if you want to watch any of the in-depth reviews about each of these, I have done dedicated videos to every single one of them. So if you want to go back, please go back there. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more coming soon. Of course, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.